me. Om Ātma hģdaya mayi amṛtam anāndam. The heart is the self that is within me. The self holds the nectar. The nectar is the bliss of immortality. Namaste. I wanted to share with you about the heart and the great mystery, the incredible multi-dimensional space that is the heart of our being. Physical heart, emotional heart, spiritual heart. So many layers. The chant that we just did together is a tantric chant, and it says Ātma hģdaye. So Ātma is the innermost self or spirit, and hģdaye, if you're just hearing that word for the first time, Hri is God, Hari, divine. Daya, place. The place of Hari in that, and it also means the cave of the heart. It's our innermost cave, right? The kind of sanctum sanctorum within the heart. So Hģdaya is really the name for our spiritual heart space. And within Hģdaya is Ātma, everything. Within Hģdaya is Hari or Shri. Shri is Hari's counterpart. The space of the heart is on many levels of being. It's not just physical heart, that's one aspect, but it's also emotional, spiritual. It's really on all layers. That's a more simple way to say it. And I wasn't really intending to get into this much depth right away, but really just so we understand the space of the heart as this alchemical space within us, where everything touches. All polarities dissolve, whether we are right, left, mind, body, Republican, Democrat, male, female, sun, moon, earth, sky. As it merges into the space of the heart, the language of the heart is beyond thought. It's pure being, presence, connection. Everything, all polarities dissolve in the heart. The heart is the space within us where we experience ultimate truth. The importance that you will find in all of the great teachings of the great teachers of the spiritual traditions, of the ancient wisdom traditions, bringing us back to the heart. I teach many variations on this theme, and some of you have been in classes with me perhaps over the years. But the way that I like to say it in my own vichara, my own inquiry, is that all roads lead to the heart. Whether we go through the doorway of yoga, the shamanic wisdom traditions, Christianity, the teachings of Christ, whether we go through the doorway of science, of Chinese medicine, we find that we arrive at the heart. Can you hear that little door closing? Pause a moment. wasn't wanting to start the whole thing over. So these are our little raw moments where it's not professionally polished, but I hope you'll be okay with that. It's just the wind, right? Prana was moving the door so slightly. Boom, boom, boom. So prana is here with us. That's a good omen. So all roads lead to the heart. And remember, just we're doing vichara with our whole, everything we've understood so far about life and yoga and who we are. And this conversation, this sharing is about that only. All of these great traditions, including science, which even though we can now do a heart transplant, which is incredible, we're still trying to grasp the mystery of the human heart. We're still trying to really understand the significance in physics as we really explore the energetic dimensions of the human heart, coherent fields of resonance and emotion, the power that, so one thing we understand is that the human heart seems to send at least 10 times, if not more, information up to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. That modern medicine defines someone as alive as long as their heart is beating. They could be in a coma, they could be in a vegetative state, but as long as there's heartbeat, tum, 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 Shiva's drum, tum, 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 there's life. If we, in our life, have everything we've ever wanted, success in whatever field, recognition, respect, material possessions, but we have no love, we're not able to share our hearts with God or with life or someone else or our journey, we would feel so lonely, and people do. The great poems of humanity, the love songs, the minstrels in ancient times would sing these songs of epic love and the journey of the human spirit, and we still have that today in music. What does our own life mean without our ability to give and receive love? In modern psychology, the ultimate motivating behavior of human beings is to want to be loved, to be appreciated, to be recognized. And that second with that, and perhaps even equal, is that we want to give our love. Chinese medicine says that the heart meridian, the pathway, which we'll learn about, is the emperor, and I like to also include the empress. It's the ruler of the other meridians, because as this one is affected, so too it affects all the other life pathways within us. So the importance of the heart for our circulation of energy, of prana, chi, of blood, our thymus gland connected to our heart. And I haven't even gotten to the big one yet. The big one is that, for me anyway, is that when we measure the electromagnetic fields, right? Life has two main fields of energy, electrical, magnetic, and together they create electromagnetic fields. They are collectively over thousands of times stronger than any other part of us. We also know that the heart generates, as in making its own, genesis, electromagnetic fields. Right now, every time your heart is beating, it's creating electricity. I can't remember the exact amount, but it's quite a lot. Isn't it just so fascinating? Because we're all looking for energy. We're looking for juice, rasa. We want the marrow of life. We want to feel connected. We want to experience the fullness. That's the desire of the soul. The more that gets covered up in matter, the more confused, the more ideas about how to do it, especially the wrong ones, that get in there as our thought software, the more stuck we get, the more we go away from the center, the more we go away from our own hearts and harden. But the closer that we can live to our own hearts, the closer we can be with life, with the elements, with nature, the sunrise, the moonrise, with each other. Right? Isn't it that we, even in our relationships, tensions build up and we stop talking to each other, we hold our emotions. But when we have that sacred opportunity for healing to come and to share, it's a catharsis. So I could go on and on. This is the short version, but the human heart has such incredible significance in our spiritual process and our life, health, vitality, in our love, in our knowing who we are. And because we are energetic beings, because we live in a vibrational universe, we also want energy, right? We're looking for it in all forms, whether it's our favorite smoothie in the morning, or coffee, or tea, or a hug, money, right? All of this is, we could think of it as energy in an energetic universe. But because we're looking for energy, and because the human heart is generating these incredibly powerful fields of energy, would it not make sense to tap into the power of our own heart for resilience, for connection, for self-love, joy, ananda, the eternal bliss of being, so important to the yogis, ananda, within the heart, the original connection of the Ātma to source as joy, the universe created out of joy, not out of obligation, not out of, oh, I should have to create a universe today, but out of love, out of sheer ecstatic. And I must say, as a sidebar, that the whole intention of doing this process and creating, for me, really, originally, it comes out of many things, but one of them is just the joy of sharing and connecting and creating. Like I can feel the spark now, I feel the energy. And it's also terrifying. And just the technological part alone, but being vulnerable like this with you, being in this space of sharing and the imperfections of life. But I'm so glad to do this. It's an open-ended process. No matter how much you learn, whatever levels of bliss you get to, you're reborn every day. You learn to keep dancing in all of that. This is a very hard time for many people on the planet, for each of us in our own way. Life is hard. If we leave that out, we're missing something. Life is beautiful. Life is a gift. Life is what we make it. Life is predetermined by some karmas. Life is here now. These are all incredible statements that could be true. But because when we are being creative, when we are tapping into these bigger fields of human heart and mind, consciousness, and I wasn't going to go into the creative energy part so much, that's another talk, but just simply creativity, creation, creating, it's divine energy. That's why we feel so alive when we're creating. We need to be creative as beings to reconnect to that part of us, the big bang, the big excitement, the big pulse, passion. To live life without passion sucks, doesn't it? Going through the motions, We've all done that at some part. We lose our inspiration, we lose our, maybe even on a daily basis, who knows. But that spark can be rekindled in a moment with a breath, with a connection with something, feeling the sunlight, chanting a mantra. I get stuck regularly. I'm just coming through an incredibly challenging month on so many levels, like going down to raw, deep places. But coming back, finding resilience is what I know is possible from my experience. So where do we source our energy in life, our health? There's so many other ways we can tie the human heart into our experience, but I do want to add this one more. Health, thymus gland, the main master gland, they're all important, but the thymus has great significance in our immune system, white blood cells, regulating the heart, the kidneys. The thymus is the glandular equivalent or corresponding gland to the heart chakra. So keeping a sense of health and resilience, immune system, immunity, high energy is really important for our heart. So we will have heart practices, and just focusing there, actually, just becoming aware of your heart actually amplifies the electromagnetic fields. Deep breathing into your thoracic area, into your rib cage, into your lungs, your heart. So all of these ways is a mantra, an awareness, certain asanas, a good love song, a good earth chant. You get the idea. And for me, the word heart and the word earth having the exact same letters, all you have to do is move your H, your hģdayam, heart, and you are connected to earth. So as I invite you to share in this process that we do together, I'm still uncovering the technology of how to do that, but I would love that, to ask that in return, not even in return, but just to ask that, a word, a sharing of your experience, whatever that is, a blessing for the group, a prayer asking for support with something. That's the power of Sangha, the power of sharing our hearts together, the power of being in conscious, loving relationship. And I'll close with this thought, because it's so important to where we are right now at this moment on earth, which is we're really, what's coming up is how we're in relationship, right? How are we in relationship to the earth, to nature, to each other, to ourselves, to the stars, to life. What we need, it's very clear the old way is not sustainable, and how old it is up for debate. There are older ways, perhaps even more in attunement with life than we are currently experiencing. But it's about a shift in consciousness. It's about evolution. We cannot get there without integrating the power of the heart, the consciousness of the heart, the energy of the heart into how we are doing life, how we are experiencing life. The science bears out the importance and power of the human heart. And so into our critical thinking, into our scientific models, we must bring heart consciousness. Into the problem solving in our life, we must bring this heart consciousness. The capacity for compassion, for empathy, for love, for wisdom. Have heart. And together we are the shift. Namaste. Thank you so much.